Support my content by becoming a patron on patreon.com/JaianMusic.
Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Anime Podcasters. I'm your host, Hotshot Ginger, and with me I have two people that I'd rather much leave alone. Go ahead and say hi, guys.
Hi!
Hi, guys.
Guys,
And
sorry.
that's why I'd rather leave them alone.
Today, we have a
me,
very
I have-
exciting topic.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to be here with you, Hotshot. It's been a minute.
I mean, life happens in all circles of the world, and we are no exception to that. We've had to adapt.
Yes, very
and
well
it's
said.
just kind of...
Yeah, it's a crazy time all around. GoProkyo is here as well. How's it going, man?
I'm the one that no one wants here.
You're right.
I'm the stepdad that nobody wants to see come back.
You're right.
I have a couple of quick housekeeping notes I want to get to before we get into this very special episode of the podcast where we're going to be talking about Studio Ghibli movies. We're going to have a long-form discussion with Hotshot and GoProkyo. I'm very excited to get their input on it because they have been watching many movies and I've caught up. Basically, is the only way I could say it. For once, I'm catching up to Hotshot on something that's anime based. So I'm really happy. This is like new territory. So let's get into these.
It's a little weird, actually.
Yeah, a little bit. Eh? Let's get into these housekeeping notes. I'm gonna put a timestamp in the podcast as to where you can skip ahead if you don't really care. So first of all, we have new artwork for the podcast by Kyo. Thank you so much. It looks amazing. The new cover photo and the new profile picture for the podcast, the new logo is gorgeous. So a big thank you to you. Just I want to give you your credit, your due. The podcast looks amazing thanks to you. So thank you so much for that, Kyo. Serious. And then I also want to thank everyone. The Facebook page is nearing 400 likes on our way to 500. So that's really been really appreciated. And then the three other things I wanted to mention. So we have a new link where you could give us reviews for the podcast. So if you go on ratethispodcast.com/animepodcasters, you can leave us a 5-star review and it'll be on any podcatcher that allows it. So if you want to give us a rating, the link is in the description. We really appreciate those. Also on my YouTube channel, I've updated, now have a bunch of anime podcaster playlists. We have them for list topics only, movie topics only, gaming topics only, and just a bunch of I broke down and organized all the episodes into different playlists. So if you want some specific episodes of the podcast, go check those out. I even have a Naruto only playlist because we've done a lot of Naruto episodes. We have like over 10, which is crazy. And finally, the last piece of thing I want to say, there's a stupid fly in my room and I can't kill it. Get out! Stupid. Sorry, I'm not even kidding. This thing is pissing me off. Get off my pop filter. Get off the. Sorry. All right.
By the way, guys, you guys can stop messaging us on the Facebook Messenger about can you leave a review for us. There is literally a tab where you can review the page and the podcast and everything.
That's the other
We appreciate
thing.
that you guys are we appreciate that you guys are messaging us and letting us know that you like the podcast, but the messaging is more so for collaboration.
Yes, and we don't sell merch. We don't sell merch.
We were supposed to. I had designs laid out. We just can't find a site that'll like pay it or like give us a good percentage.
Yeah, and the final thing I want to say, this episode will be the only one this month just because we're adapting to a new schedule. September, Hotshot's got a new job. We're all getting a bit busy. So this month, we're just going to give ourselves one big long-form conversation about Studio Ghibli movies. So this is why we're doing such a big, broad topic. So that's enough of updating. Let's get into the meat of this. I really want to start with this question. How did you guys find Studio Ghibli? Because this is a super popular studio that produces gorgeous anime films, but for some reason, I've only been aware of it for the last 2 years, which is ridiculous, right?
I want to start off by saying I brought up Studio Ghibli in one of the Koala casts, and I was shocked to my core that Jaian never heard of Studio Ghibli.
Right?
And
also while I'm at that, sorry guys, supposedly the actual pronunciation of the name is Ghibli, but I just call it Ghibli because it rolls off the tongue better.
Yeah, Ghibli.
Just like me calling Jaden. It just fits with me better.
You just refuse to use his name.
Even though now I can can actually pronounce it, but it's been far too long for me to correct
Fair
it
enough.
now.
Yeah, it's like at this point we may as well just
Yeah,
leave it.
basically.
Yeah, but even more shocked to hear that when Jane didn't know any of the Ghibli movies or what any of them even were, more shocked to hear that I had actually watched a fair deal of them before you even met me. I've watched more since then, but I have watched at least 3 or 4 of them. One of them fell asleep with because I just got bored out of my fucking skull. But
Probably Ocean Waves.
Everybody's gonna hate you for that one though.
everyone's gonna hate me, but you know what? That's how I felt when I watched it at the time.
You want to just
Maybe
go
I've
ahead and
changed it.
say which movie that was?
Yeah, just because while I'm at it. It was actually Howl's Moving
Really?
Castle.
Wow, that's one of the better ones in my opinion.
I could not get into it to save my life. I tried watching it one time when I was younger with my sister. We rented it from Blockbuster. And
Tells you how long ago that was.
And I just couldn't stay awake. Then tried watching it again with my sister and my dad, and I just couldn't stay awake through it either. And I'm just like, this movie always puts me to sleep, and I don't know why. It was
We're gonna have to do it like straight up in the morning tomorrow to like get you to sit through it.
Yeah, sure. Make me fall asleep again right after I wake up.
For me, it was
Exactly.
Ocean Waves.
Like
Have
when
you
I'm
heard
the
of that one?
tiredest
Yeah.
of the
Have you heard
day.
of that one, Ocean Waves? That
Which
was the
one?
one that for me, I got through it.
I-
I didn't like it. I really didn't like it.
Do you mean Tales from Earthsea or?
No, it's a Ghibli movie
it
called
is.
Ocean Waves.
Oh, okay. So I don't think that one is one you necessarily have to watch to like have seen them all.
No, for sure.
Like I think, or that one's it's just one of the ones that's just kind of part of their repertoire. The ones that are that most people agree are consistently the really good ones are the ones directed by Miyazaki. But and in my opinion, as far as Howl's Moving Castles go, or Howl's Moving Castle, one, I love the design of the world, but other than that, I think the movie is really sluggish and there's not a lot that happens. Like there's no there's no like beginning, middle, and end to it. Like it has like the first part is the main girl going off to try and find a cure for, or actually it's not even trying to find a cure. She just kind of leaves. She just kind of leaves because I'm old now. I've been cursed to be old.
I'm
And then
head
she
out.
just leaves. And then she just leaves her home with like with no explanation. Then like midway through the movie, it's like there's a war going on. Okay, nothing happens there. Like Hal is flying over a battlefield. He comes back, and then the new plot for the movie is Howl is like fixing Howl's curse because his heart is missing. There's no consistent choice as to what is supposed to happen in that movie. I do like the environment of the world. I think that's the strongest part of it.
And Howl's like, what is it, demon mode or like his true form?
It's
Big
it's
feather
one of the curses.
Bird fuck thing.
It's even worse for me because I was interested because at the time when I saw it, The Dark Knight was a big movie.
Okay.
And Christian Bale is the English voice for Howl. So he uses his like voice for like the owl thing or whatever he is.
I was gonna give this movie a second chance, but no.
So it's really distracting and like it's one of the lesser Ghibli movies for me at least.
I want Hal to come down and go. I am
Actually,
the knight.
if I could add a point, one of my favorite characters in all the Ghibli movies I saw was in that movie. For me, it was Calcifer, the little flame.
Oh, Calcifer is hilarious.
Calcifer.
I think he's a
Calcifer
really good
was
character.
Like a standout. Like I love I'm gonna die. She's like, no, I'm just gonna clean. And like, no, seriously, like put wood there. I'm gonna die. Seriously, like what are you doing? And
I'm not gonna lie, you guys are on your own on this one.
I'll have to like let you sit through it yourself because now you're actually into these movies and you know kind of what you like and what you don't like.
Though I have unpopular opinions on more than a couple of them. There are a few Ghibli movies that I just fucking adore.
Such as?
And the ones that I adore, the ones I have unpopular opinions on.
I'm actually curious.
One that I completely adore, and it was actually my first Ghibli movie ever, was Spirited Away.
That one's universally loved.
Spirited
Away. I don't think a person on the planet can disagree
Best
with
one.
like Spirited Away being the best one.
For sure.
Yeah. That was my first one. That was the one where I watched it on my own one time, and no matter how many times I've seen it, and I watched it when I was like 6 or 7, maybe a little older, but I can't help but always remember the entire sequence in the bathhouse when Sin actually starts working for the witch.
Oh.
And just the entire bathhouse scene of her having to wash this mucky, grimy mud-like creature.
So satisfying though when he
And
cleans it.
And that
I
entire
loved it.
thing.
When,
Oh yeah.
It's so satisfying, like that entire thing. And then when we finally get the emergence of No Face, or No Name,
Or
is it No Face?
It's
or
No
Name?
Face.
No,
And that's not who was inside the mud creature.
No, I'm saying like after she's done scrubbing we finally get the emergence of No Face, and then when the refusal of the payment, and then him just going absolutely fucking ballistic, and I loved it.
I love like how he like just handing out
Sin-
gold to everyone and like, oh my god, more, please! You're like a free bank of money. It just keeps handing out money, and everyone's like, "Oh, we love our special guest."
What is it? What is it again that triggers him to refuse the payment or
she's like looking for Haku, and he's like in pain and bleeding, and she's like chasing him through the bathhouse trying to like catch him and help him.
So she's trying to just
she
move
runs
by.
into like the parade that they're having inside the bathhouse, and No Face is like throwing out the gold, and they're giving him food and everything.
Right.
And then she comes up to him or bumps into him, and then he hands out the gold, asks like basically like take the gold, and she's like, no, that's not what I want, or like basically just showing that she's grown into a selfless person.
Oh right. And then he loses his shit, like, how dare you have well-defined characteristics and be a decent human being? I'm going to kill you.
I actually was looking at this movie,
or the fucking reveal of the parents and the pigs. That was just, I mean, I know this is an anime movie,
they got what they
but
deserved, though. You know what I'm saying?
Just weird. It was
but like
just weird.
I was looking at
how do you figure?
Yeah, I was looking at stuff about this movie, and the 20-year anniversary of Spirited Away is next July, guys. That's crazy. It's 20 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Shit. All right.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a 19-year-old movie. I didn't. Whoa.
Yeah.
God. All right. Going back to the previous point. What do you mean the parents got?
Well,
what
they were eating
deserved?
all that food that was not theirs, and then they got turned into pigs. You shouldn't.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. It's kind of like the turning into a donkey in Pinocchio.
Yeah.
you're just an ass, so you're gonna
basically
turn into an
that's
ass.
the way I thought. I was like, yeah, that's. You know what? And plus, like, you just knew they just reeked of support characters when they were driving in that car. I was like, yeah, this is about Sin. Okay, cool.
Oh, actually, two more
Yeah.
things on Spirited Away. Actually, one character that I didn't really like all that much, at least the first time watching through it. I probably have changed my mind on it since. Is actually Haku.
Oh.
Really?
I don't even know. I don't even know why. I just couldn't really get into maybe the fact that he was the prince, and I just didn't like those kind of characters.
Usually I don't like that kind of character myself, but I think.
And then
so,
he
like,
turns...
I've only seen this movie like once, and I still loved it. Like, Austin's girlfriend at the time had like a collection, and she brought over Spirited Away, and like we had an hour and a half to kill, and she's just like, "Have you seen Spirited Away?" I'm like, "No, I love movies and I love Miyazaki movies, but I haven't seen this one." She's like, "All right, sit down. You need to see this."
Yeah, I was really surprised that I saw it before you. That's what terrified me.
I usually when I was a kid, I was like digging into those movies. Like the movie that I saw the most Ghibli movie that I saw as a kid was My Neighbor Totoro. That was my first introduction to it. Like I saw the original English dub VHS tape way back in the day. This was before Disney did the redub with the Fanning sisters.
Oh, okay.
So it was like the older one, and I think it's the one that we have on the DVD that you got.
We'll
go into
My
that
Neighbor
later.
Totoro was a good one too.
But
I love that one.
I want to hear Austin's out loud opinion on that one because
on Totoro.
Yeah.
Let's
oh
move
really?
on.
No, go ahead. Get started.
I didn't hate it at all. The designs were cute, except for Totoro. I enjoyed the characters,
I don't
except
like
for
the
Totoro.
company's mascot.
I laughed at I laughed at the jokes, except at Totoro. Okay. My favorite thing about My Neighbor Totoro was actually the cat bus, and that's easily the most terrifying thing in the movie, except for Totoro.
The cat bus was pretty cool.
I don't know why.
I'm getting the sense, Austin, that you might not like Totoro himself, the character.
I know Totoro is the mascot of Studio Ghibli, and I know he's like supposed to be like the most friendly kind of character that there ever was in these kind of movies. But Totoro just freaks the fuck out of me, okay?
I think Austin's afraid of the the big mouth that he's got. Like it just, or like whenever Totoro smiles, Austin was
No,
like, on
that's
edge.
the thing. He doesn't do anything but smile. It's either smile or mouth closed. Nothing else.
Yeah.
And especially when he opens his mouth. Oh dear God, no. The story is cute. I like learning like what the sisters are going through. I like them having that connection with their mom in the hospital, moving away with their dad, and still having that kind of story arc. It's just Totoro himself, where he's supposed to be this charming, cute, and like be there for you kind of character and creature. For me, he's piss your pants fear inducing. I don't know why. I want to love him. I want to love Totoro, but I can't.
I'm flabbergasted at that because he's not like a horror monster. He's not like
he's not.
He
no,
fucking is.
Hotshot, come on, he isn't.
Hold on.
Let's throw Totoro in Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's see what happens.
Oh, come on. Seriously,
He will dislocate his jaw like a snake and devour you whole. And he will smile with glee as he does it.
See, and then get back to me on Totoro being an evil monster. Seriously, like.
I love Bloodseed.
Okay,
I love Bloodseed.
Well,
I'm terrified of Totoro.
And you love the killer bunnies in Bloodseed. How do you not love Totoro? What the hell's wrong with you?
Because he's terrifying-er than the bunnies.
Not.
Terrifying-er isn't a word. I'm making it up for Totoro.
Just stop, dude. You're wrong on all levels.
I mean, I know, but it's my opinion. I can be wrong if I choose.
Great point of view. I wanted to ask for you guys, what do you think? Okay, so I was just doing some research about this stuff. In the top 4 highest grossing anime films, there's 3 Ghibli movies, and they take up spot 4, 3, and 2. If you had to guess what they were without looking it up, please, what do you think is like one of those 3 movies or any of those 3 movies? If you had to guess, I'm just curious if you guys could figure it. Put your
number 2 has got to be Spirited Away, at least.
Yeah, Spirited Away is on there.
Knew it.
Totoro has got to be on there. Mononoke?
Nope.
Prince Mononoke? No.
Oh,
these are surprising.
really?
These other 2 are
Princess.
surprising. One of them we've already talked about. I'll give you that.
Oh,
Yeah,
House
that's number
Moving
3.
Castle.
And then what do you think is number 4? It's one of the ones that I watched to catch up with you guys.
Please tell me it's okay. We agreed the Spirited Away is on there, so luckily one I like is on there. Please tell me it's Nazca.
No,
is it
it's
Nazca?
Ponyo.
Damn
What?
it. That's upset.
Ponyo.
I
was
love
great.
Ponyo.
Oh,
Whoa!
Ponyo's
Ponyo, fishy in the
Yes,
sea.
Hotshot. You see, this is why I love you, because I can agree with you and disagree with you. But this one, it's like, I'm really happy I can agree with you on this one. And just for the people wondering what number 1 was, it's actually Your Name. Your Name is the number 1. Yeah.
Oh.
That came out in 2016.
The number 1 anime movie of all time is Your
grossing
Name.
anime. Yeah.
Highest grossing. So, like,
I mean,
highest,
The biggest
Okay.
cash grab.
That's a little surprising, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I loved Your Name, but at the same time,
Or like, I'm a little more surprised that
I thought for sure it would have been a Ghibli movie.
I think adjusted for inflation is part of why Your Name is a little higher. Plus, it was plus it had a wider release as it was coming out, so it was in America as it was still in Japanese.
we're all wrong. Number 1 is actually Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Dragon Ball Super Broly is actually number 12.
God damn it!
Princess Mononoke is above it.
I had no doubt. I had no doubt.
Yeah,
on that
fair
one,
enough.
dude.
No, he means like it's
No. Princess.
No, it's higher
number
on the
8.
list.
Princess Mononoke is number 8.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But like,
Yeah.
I feel bad because we actually sidestepped
Next
Giant's
to
question.
next to Ninja Clash in the Land of Snow.
I don't know that one.
Or we.
That's
The
Naruto,
Naruto
you
movie.
buffoon.
Whatever, dude. It's not. I'm in Ghibli mode, whatever you want to call it. But I want to go back to this point. Kyo, you didn't.
All right, fine. Let's go back to your
go
point.
back to your point. No, but because I said Ponyo, and I felt like there was like you guys didn't agree. Like Hotshot loved it, and Kyo, you weren't as about it. I feel like, right? Is that what yeah.
I think
it-
it's just the fact that you were surprised that it was that high on.
I was a little
list,
surprised
right?
because I don't think it's that
Okay.
good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's a cute movie.
But you love
I don't
Ponyo.
think I like Ponyo, I don't think it's what was it above? It was above
It was number 4.
Well, Nazca was not on there. Mononoke wasn't on
so
there.
Howl's Moving Castle grossed more than
Yes.
Ponyo? Okay.
Oh, I thought Spirited Away was 2.
Or Spirited Away is 2. I was saying, so like it was 4, 3, and 2. So like 2
okay.
was
so Spirited Away, then Howl, then Ponyo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I would put Ponyo at like an 8 if I were to rank it from like top 10. Like I think it's a good Ghibli movie. It's just not one that I would find myself going back to nearly as much as like say Spirited Away, Porcaroso, or Kiki.
Really?
You tasted human blood. What else did you have?
I love Ponyo. It's such a cute movie.
Ponyo's
like
amazing.
I think some of the best part of it is just like how nonchalant some lines are read. Like for example, there's the "Did you taste blood?" It's like,
Ham.
okay,
You ate their food.
excuse
What
me.
else did you have?
When is consuming blood part of the process of becoming human?
You have the bloodlust. Oh god.
If that's the case, vampires must be so human.
The limit of what she does to get ham, though. Just when she breaks free of her father's prison and controls the waves and runs on them with her fucking chicken legs and just jumps onto the and just jumps onto the surface for the sake of ham, and then causes a almost globally wide tsunami because
But you know what?
of
The
it.
night I watched Ponyo, it was like raining like crazy outside, and I just like it felt like the right vibe to watch that movie. I don't know why, but like the fact that it was like raining.
That is perfect. That's probably the perfect time to watch that movie.
Yeah,
like,
but
on
then
a
the
rainy
next
day.
morning happens and it's all sunny and they go out on the boat. Then you're just like, it's still raining. I'm just like,
if you put Ponyo on at the right time, the sun will come out towards the climax.
Right?
speaking of the flooded world, though, I love Yosuke's boat.
Sosuke.
I love Sosuke's boat.
Oh yeah, that
Where
was
it-
really
where
cute.
it's-
I love that.
Where it's candle powered,
And it
like
shrinks.
light it and put it in, and then it just keeps going.
That feels like
Okay.
something that I would have like imagined doing as a child. Like that's such like an imaginative thing that like it feels like something that a child would imagine.
Yeah, one scene in that I know this is supposed to be charming, but to me it was terrifying.
We already know your opinion on Totoro, you fucking disgusting person.
When Sosuke and Ponyo are passing by parents and a crying child, and then Ponyo just looks back at the child just crying fiercely, jumps off onto the water in fish mode, grabs the baby by the face, and then just like squishes its face
That
and
was
like
so weird, dude.
face morphs into it, and then just leaves waving to the parents.
Okay, like what was supposed to happen there, like what you're supposed to get out of that scene.
She was supposed to eat him?
No. In that scene, she's supposed to be taking the cold away from the child because the baby's crying because it's got a cold.
Right.
But so like Ponyo comes up and like basically takes the cold away from the child.
Yeah, I didn't get
And
that.
I know. That's why it's weird. It's like it's got to be like some kind of like a Japanese thing or something like that. I don't know what the superstition behind that is, but I have a feeling that's kind of what they were going for, and that's part of explaining like why she passed out and her powers started fading away because she had the cold. That's my guess as to what was going on.
Look, I know this is Ghibli we're dealing with, but that's weird.
It is weird. I know. I don't like that either. I think it's a really strange way to move your movie forward. However, that is still a cute movie.
In this same movie, we have basically the Guardian of the Ocean who got it on with this giantess of the ocean.
I'm not surprised by that. Have you been to Rule 34? Search up giantess stuff. You'll find plenty.
Look, I'm aware. I've probably been there more than you. But just they got it on. This guy makes his appearance on the surface, just soaking the water so he doesn't dry up as he's making his first way to Ponyo, then trying to find his daughter. And I can accept all that weirdness more than just running up to a baby and squishing its face and leaving. That to me is not weird. Or that to me is weird. The other stuff is not. I don't know if it's
like the
because
rest of the movie is fine to you. Just that one scene.
That one scene is like, this is just weird. You can crave ham and destroy the world all you want.
I will still watch an entire series where it's just you searching for ham.
Old people are such abstract dicks And you can parade around the world in a candle-powered boat. That's fine. Grabbing a baby by the face and rubbing your face on it, smiling all the while, no.
With your creepy fish chicken
With your
face.
creepy fish chicken legs, no. I'm out. Thanks. I had a good time, but I'm done.
I think one thing I appreciate from Ghibli movies, though, is how they incorporate, kind of like early Dragon Ball, they incorporate, like, humans with animals. You know what I mean?
Dude, they had, like,
I know the
both
one
him
we need
and,
to talk. I know the one we need to talk about next.
Oh, please tell me we are.
Yes,
It's
thank you,
Porcaroso.
thank you. Yo, how many times do I
Yeah.
give you a softball and you're like, no, I'm going to guess another thing just to piss you off. There you go. There you go. That's how you do it, Hotshot.
I'm sorry. Did I say Porcaroso? I meant.
Pompoko.
Wait a minute. All of these have animals in them. Even Kiki. No.
There's not a lot of like humanoid animal creatures. I think it's just Porcaroso.
I love
Oh, man.
Porcaroso.
The
I
action
adored
was
that
so
movie.
great.
That was
It's
such
pro-
a fun movie.
It's probably my third favorite Ghibli movie.
I don't blame you. That's a really good one.
Like I'll tell my top three later on. But Porcaroso, the flying pig, and dogfights, and just this pig basically just wanting to fly around the world of his own regard, not really get into any wars or any fights or anything like that anymore. I love it because of how charming that fucking premise is. And then when he gets in a fist fight in the end, I'm just like, kick his ass, Mr. Piggy.
Oh, I love that.
I just love it. This is Porky Pig's ancestor, and he kicked fucking ass.
I love his, like, ferociousness, his tenacity, his, like, he doesn't give up. Remember when he gets shot down by those enemies, and, like, they see his plane crash, like, oh, he's gone. No, he's chilling on an island. He's gonna get back to you. You, like, if you don't see a body, like, you're definitely not on the right side here. You know what I'm saying? And, like,
Yeah, Porcaroso's
Oh, what a
totally
badass.
fine.
The relations between him, like him and his, I'm gonna say former love for the sake of this. That's just basically watching him fly like the Countess.
Oh, yeah.
essentially.
Mhm.
Like his connection with her, I found fucking adorable. His mentor / almost romantically involved
No,
with
wait,
the with
you
the
mean
engineer.
You mean apprentice?
Yeah,
You said mentor.
yeah,
Like
him being a mentor.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like mentor apprentice, almost borderline
I thought it was
romantic.
that was Theo,
It's
right?
not quite-
That was her name, I think. Theo. Yeah.
Yeah, Theo.
Yeah,
She-
she other than
He
Porcaroso
didn't-
himself,
I don't think that
she
there
is my
was a-
favorite character in this movie.
I don't think she was really like romantically interested in him. I saw it more as like just an admiration sort of thing, like
Yeah.
where she looks up to him because like he's lived such an interesting life.
Such
like, she
a
doesn't
hog
know
wild
anything.
life. Pun
Yeah.
totally intended.
Shut the fuck up. Leave basically just like he has such a mysterious past, and you're so interested in
What the
in
fuck that past was.
Yes, exactly. And like that, not only that, but his personality is so it draws you in. Like he's not like a
He's
Han
not a-
Solo. He's not a Han Solo type of character. He's just
Leave me alone and let me fly.
yeah. He's a very free spirited person, but he's also a little cold, and he just
'cause
kind of
he's-
wants to
just 'cause he's
chill
seen-
out and live his life, live the rest of his life doing what he loves,
Yeah.
and that's flying.
Just because he's seen what kind of connections that can
Yeah.
lead to, and
Yeah.
what kind of heartbreak it can go.
The thing
to.
is,
Mhm.
When I think Porcaroso, obviously, like the first thing I think of is the actual airplane fights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the first scene that always comes to my mind is when he's talking to Theo, and he finally agrees to something. I can't remember the context. And Theo kisses his cheek, and then happily just like goes away and goes to bed. I can't remember the context leading up to that. But the smile on her face is just so freaking genuine and lays down with such like, I can't wait to wake up tomorrow for this. It's so damn cute. I love it. I love it a lot.
Sorry, Jan.
no,
think
I
we
was
cut
just
you
gonna
off.
say, like, I was gonna make a joke of like, Porcaroso gave me a new topic idea. We could do like anime pigs, like, you know, Porcaroso, Hawk from Seven Deadly Sins, any other pig we can find out, and it would be like a great topic.
The parents
The parents
from Spirited Away. Like I think that's your list, Giant.
Anime
And
pigs.
the Looney Tunes anime Porky Pig.
The Looney Tunes anime, sure, we'll go with the Looney Tunes anime. Porky Pig.
Yeah, but we're gonna
Number
have to,
one,
we're
best
gonna-
pig in anime.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to make it. We need to give him a shotgun.
Oh my god, why?
Give Porky Pig a shotgun.
I don't want to do this.
Yes, you do. You're a Looney Tunes fan. You're an anime fan. These things should have a baby.
That just because, much like two divorced parents, I may love them both equally. That doesn't mean I want them. That doesn't mean that I want them in the same room. I want them as far away from each other as possible.
I had a very dark joke in my head, but I'm not going to say it out of respect for everyone listening and everyone on this podcast.
I also wanted to know if we can start steering away from Porcaroso. Kiki, yo, I love that one.
Kiki!
Yeah, I loved Kiki.
My second favorite Ghibli movie.
Ghibli. No,
I said Ghibli.
You said Ghibli.
Okay, it's also that.
Every time you'll
My second favorite
every
Ghibli
time you'll
movie.
say Ghibli from now on, I'm just gonna edit in the G before the blah.
Before the
The
blood.
bleh.
I love Kiki. I love her. I love the cat. I love who she stays with. I love her training to be an actual witch. I hate her boyfriend.
Oh, he's so annoying.
I don't think I like him, or I don't think I really hate him. I think he's just there to me. You know what character I love? The character that she meets like right at the beginning, or the artist who's like living out in the cabin in the woods.
Oh, yeah. It took me a second to remember who you're talking about. Yeah, she was like a bit of like, oh, I'm having a hard time. What should I do? And she like kind of guides Kiki back into like, this is how it works and blah, blah, blah. And I just remember like, that was the lowest she was, and she kind of skyrocketed back up with her whole delivery service and everything again. That's how I remember it.
Or the painter girl who gives Kiki the advice of like, yeah, if you don't have your head cleared, then, or like if you don't have a clear goal, then it's probably time to step away from whatever it is you're working on, just like clear your
Apparently
mind for a
it's
little
Senior
while.
When we
Witch.
first meet her-
she doesn't have a name. Apparently, yeah.
Senior witch.
Yuko.
She's not
Yuko
a witch.
Kobayashi.
When we first-
Yuko Kobayashi.
Yuko. Okay.
We'll just go with Yuko.
Yuko Kobayashi. So when we first meet her, she is a bit of an oddball, but at the same time, in the city that Kiki's in, she also is. So it just seems like all the more reason to actually find her and have that connection.
Yeah.
Even though everyone else in the city is like, she's weird, don't talk to her. Meanwhile, Kiki's over here like, I'm a witch. I kind of have to. I need help. Help me understand this. And just to have that solid a connection. Honestly, I really do enjoy her, and I really do feel like she's a strong reason why Kiki is on the straight and narrow as she is. Like both her and the foster folks,
the bakers.
The bakers. That's why I said foster, because that's just what popped in my head. The bakers that she stays with, like keeping her on that straight and narrow path, especially when it comes to her delivery service and her job on that.
Yeah.
But like all Ghibli movies, there is one scene or like one sequence that breaks my fucking heart, and that's when Kiki starts losing her powers.
Yeah, that was very heartbreaking.
It's so heart-wrenching.
But at the same time, like, I felt like she was kind of one-dimensional at this point. She was just like this good-natured person who delivered food, and now like let's give her a bit of struggle. And when I saw that happen, I was like, okay, now let's see how she reacts under pressure and when the deck's a bit stacked against her, and not this whole feel-good thing of like, oh, my daughter needs muffins, and here are your muffins, like something different.
Even getting to the point to where she can't understand her familiar anymore. He's just a cat now.
Yeah.
And especially when that cat leaves her to go get some, and it's just so uncomfortable. It's just like, I don't understand why you're leaving me. I'm just like, oh my god, Kiki, no.
But at the same time, I just felt like in general that movie just had such a happy tone. And what I'm realizing now, more than we're talking about all these different movies with Ghibli, there's a lot of just kids as characters, like main characters or supporting characters. It's a very kid-based characters.
Actually, yeah. Sen from
Sen.
Spirited Away. Sen,
Sen.
or is it Sen?
It's S-E-N.
Oh, I
Sen.
thought it was Sin.
Sin.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, so Sen from Spirited Away, Kiki from aptly named Kiki, the girl from House Moving Castle.
Well, she's a little more of an adult because she works at a shop. So I would say like maybe teenager, like somewhere bordering on
somewhere
16
on
to
the
18.
same lines of Mononoke then, because
Yeah.
Mononoke is easily a teenager.
And
Yeah. So like a lot of them are more so about like
The only one I
growing
can
into
think
your
of,
own and becoming an adult.
the only one I can think of that's straight up about an adult, at least in my mind, is
Yeah.
Porcaroso.
Actually, yeah, the Porcaroso is like
Is a
probably
middle-aged pig adult,
Yeah.
or older. Actually, I think he is like in his 60s.
No, I think he was like 40, maybe 50.
Point being, he wasn't a
like that.
teenager anymore.
Very
He wasn't
clear.
a young piglet either. I know he was cursed. It's a joke.
What about like Nausicaa? That film, the main character, like that's a teenager, right? Yeah.
Nazca's a
About
teenager
that.
leading
About
up
that age.
onto young adult.
Yeah. And then I was just yeah. Go ahead.
Speaking.
No, you
Well,
go ahead.
go
please.
ahead.
Oh, I think the only other exception is Pompoko.
Yeah, that was all raccoons though.
I don't remember that one.
Or yeah, that's the one about the raccoons.
Ah,
We haven't watched that.
That one was
Ah,
really good.
I have
yeah,
at
yeah.
least.
If I just put a bit of a precursor, it's hilarious. It's pretty funny. It's basically like these raccoons with obviously spiritual powers because it's a Ghibli movie. And they live in this forest, and there's construction that starts to occur around their forest, and they try to fight back the humans and find ways to delay or disrupt the construction so that their forest remains intact. And a lot of stupid stuff and a lot of funny stuff and a lot of Ghibli stuff happens throughout the movies, the movie to make to prevent from the construction to destroy the entire forest.
When Ghibli stuff doesn't happen in Ghibli movies, you know you have a problem.
I have a question for you then,
Yes?
Jaian. Are you aware of what part of their body they're using during this movie?
Yeah,
The
I know.
raccoons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Say it loud.
I was just
Because I
hoping
don't.
that Jaian had seen the English dub where they call them pouches instead of ball
Yeah.
sacks.
I mean, I watched it this morning. But that one was, to me, I think that
Okay.
movie was my favorite universe, if that makes sense. No, not my favorite universe. My favorite universe is for sure Nausicaa. Nausicaa, like the universe of Nausicaa was just so cool with all the bugs. I would definitely want to get into that. But
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite structure in the sense of the way it's narrated and the way it's the raccoons and da 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 da, and you really get a frame by frame play of how are they gonna go about screwing over this construction site or doing this over there. It's really cool. I really like the way it's described and how it's narrated throughout the structure of the anime. Yeah.
You like how it's structured. You like the way that
It's really cool like
everything's
that.
laid out.
But Nausicaa, the universe in Nausicaa is so cool.
Before we get to Nazca, I'm sorry, I just have to get this out because if I don't, I'm gonna hold on to it for a while. When we were describing the raccoons and their ball sacks, the scene that immediately went into my mind was from South Park when they all enlarge their ball sacks and hop on them like hoppity hops. And I was imagining a bunch of raccoons doing said action.
They actually do that in one scene.
Oh dear God, no.
I'm guessing Hot's just gonna watch this tonight.
We probably will.
We might, because
Austin has to see it now. He
I
just
laugh
has to.
at ball sacks. I laugh at fart jokes. I really don't have any taste.
This way we can actually have a full-on Pompoko podcast episode.
That's a terrifying thought.
We'll talk about raccoons and their ball sacks for an entire half hour.
I'm down. How many times can we say taint in one podcast?
But yo, Nausicaa though, you can't cut me off at the oh yeah, we'll talk about it later. No, tell me now. In all seriousness.
All right, you want to know why? Okay, in all seriousness, you want to know why I was cutting you off to talk about raccoon ball sacks instead of
Because you're
Nazca?
Hotshot.
No. Well, yeah, that's probably one reason. But because Nazca is my favorite Ghibli movie.
I don't understand how. Okay, wait, what So you didn't want to talk about your favorite movie because you wanted to talk about that? What?
That is correct.
I'm so confused.
I didn't want to talk about my favorite movie because I wanted to make a joke about ball sacks instead.
All right, but your favorite movie, go ahead.
Nausicaa. So when Kyo first showed it to me, it's actually one of the few Ghibli movies we have on Blu-ray before I got the
Yeah.
bootleg DVD collection.
We were at Walmart one day.
Yeah,
And I was
backstory on that real
yeah.
quick.
We were at Walmart one day. I don't remember what Austin was doing. He was doing something else. We were in the video section, and I happened to see a bunch of movies that were like $20 for Blu-ray. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start building up my Ghibli collection in Blu-rays so that way I can have them all in glorious HD. So I saw Nausicaa was one of the ones that was on there, and personally, I hadn't seen it yet.
We got Nazca and Spirited Away, I think, right?
Or Spirited Away we have on a regular DVD. We got to get it on Blu-ray, I think.
Okay.
But anyway, so I saw it and I was like, I haven't seen this. I keep hearing good things about it. and I absolutely need to see it, because for me, the more animated films I see, the more knowledge I have about these films. And personally, I also really like to look at behind the scenes stuff about these movies. It really intrigues me, because another thing is that this whole movie, there is no computer animation in the entire film. It's all drawn on hand. Everything is drawn on hand, like with pencil and paper, painting, and it's an intense movie. And when we finally watched it on the Blu-ray, I was absolutely blown away by this
I'm
film.
reading stuff about Nausicaa,
Nausicaa.
and I didn't even know that. I want to read this out because I don't think you guys even know this. So it was released in 1984, but then I'm going to take this from the wiki because this is really cool. A heavily edited adaptation of the film created by Manson International, Warriors of the Wind, was released in the United States and other markets throughout the mid to late 1980s, and was eventually replaced in circulation by an uncut redubbed version by Walt Disney Pictures in 2005.
Yeah.
What? And then, though it was made before Studio Ghibli was founded, it's considered a Ghibli work and was released as part of the Studio Ghibli Collection DVD. The film is received critically acclaimed. Okay, so is it a Ghibli film? Or what? I'm confused. Okay.
It is. So it's made by the guys who founded the Ghibli studio. This is before they actually had their own studio, and when the director of the film went to pitch it to a movie studio, he couldn't pitch it because the movie studio was like, we we will not produce any movies unless there is a manga tie-in, because in Japan it's a lot smarter to already have like that fan base ready, which is why a lot of manga gets adapted, because there's a fan base out there already. So instead of making the movie first, he went ahead and he created an entire, I think it was like a 3 or 4 issue manga where he has an entire story laid out, and he pitched it back to them because it got super popular back when it first came out. And then he was like, "Will you make my movie now?" And they're like, "Yes, here's your money."
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was an intense it was intense back then, and once that came out and they made their money off of it, they were able to build their studio, and then they started producing movies.
I have two things I want to ask you guys, and then one thing I want to ask you guys, and then one thing I want to ask you specifically, Kyo. I really felt like a Metroid vibe from the Nausicaa movie. What do you guys think?
Yeah, kind of.
Metroid combined with Fallout, I'd say, because it's kind of post-apocalyptic, desertly adventure, but with a lot of sci-fi elements. And that's also another reason why I love it. I loved her bird.
Yeah,
her bird was the best.
It wasn't a bird. It was a little ferret or whatever it was.
Ferret.
Oh, that's right. Why did I say
it was like
bird?
a little flying squirrel.
Yeah, why did I say bird? I think because it soared through the fucking air.
Because it always
basically
flies.
Yeah,
I get that.
it was amazing.
No, I was great. And the other thing I want to ask Yukio is, you really clearly explained that whole Nausicaa thing. I had no idea. Is there other stuff you know about Ghibli movies that are kind of like fun facts like that, like trivial details like that are really cool? Because I feel like you're this franchise well, this studio well. So I'm just curious if there's other tidbits you want to share.
I feel bad because I haven't seen all these movies, and I'm a huge fan of the movies that I have seen, and I really want to see, and so. Tracing back to what we said earlier, Austin, for my birthday, got me a DVD copy of a complete Ghibli collection.
No way.
Which,
that's awesome.
On the whole, was the sweetest and nicest thing Austin has gotten for me.
Aside
However,
from one other gift.
Yeah, actually. But he didn't realize that when he was buying it, it's a bootleg copy.
What?
So the movies on the discs are 360p, 360 quality on them, and we watched Princess Mononoke and Porcaroso on this, and the quality was so awful. And then luckily I had bought the Nausicaa Blu-ray. And we went back and watched that, and we're like, I can't go back. We can't go back to this bootleg DVD. And I've made fun of him for it, but I always have to preface that I am super thankful for the fact that you got this for me. I just want to say, check your links next time.
I got it off Amazon. I thought it was.
Oh, you got it on Amazon?
Yeah, that's why I thought
Fuck.
it was the real deal.
Someone in China is like is celebrating with your $20 that you got.
The only two gifts I can think of that I got that are nicer than that are the bundle I got you for the complete collection of Gravity Falls and the number 3 journal.
Oh yeah, that's
And-
God, I love that thing.
And the complete collection of Invader Zim.
those are still some of my favorite gifts, and I still use them.
But the fucking Ghibli one. Okay, I
We
had
were so disappointed with that.
since I'm on a rant about gifts for Kyo, there was only one failure in my mind that's bigger than this, and that's when I bought you Ash versus the Evil Dead, the series,
Oh.
before we watched the actual movies.
Oh, God.
I was so goddamn upset, and I'm still really upset about it. We've watched the movies, now we can watch the show no matter what, but I'm so upset that I did that.
Austin has sort of a good and bad history. I know that Austin knows me enough that he knows exactly what to get me, so I'm never worried about it. I am, however, worried that he'll get so close that he'll somehow overshoot.
Damn.
It's infuriating.
I'm sorry, I got off of the question you asked me,
like,
Diane. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It
but
was,
like trivia about the different Ghibli movies that you know about or stuff like that.
I'll drop.
The
Don't worry.
gifts that I got for Kyo.
Don't worry. I'll drop trivia as we go along with the movies. Like, so, I guess like since we were talking about Porcaroso, I may as well drop this. Miyazaki is a really big fan of planes. The director of the movie. So I should also let you know that the reason that ties in is because the studio is named after a specific airplane called a Ghibli, and it was a really early World War II type of. It was a really early prop plane, like a World War II. It may or may not have been the kind that Porcaroso was flying. I don't think it actually was. But it's just a little interesting connection is that he's such a big fan of planes because he did both Porcaroso and then he also did When the Wind Rises.
Right. That's really cool. I actually wondered
Yeah.
about the planes in Porcaroso. I felt like those were like regular planes, like you would see them in real life. But then like the plane,
Yeah, those are real planes.
and then
Most
the
of
ones
them
in
are.
Nausicaa, like I wish those were real life planes. I'm sorry, I you know what I mean? Like the universe is very so much
Dude,
throughout all these different.
I mean, Nazca's just strictly
I
science fiction.
wish it was real life though.
Porcaroso's biggest fantasy thing was the main character was a pig.
I guess.
That was probably about the most fantasy about it. But Nausicaa, with like the fucking armies of bugs that
So
she tries to
creepy.
peacefully resolve,
Ugh.
or the fucking takeover, like in the beginning where I think her father gets gunned down, right?
That
yeah.
would hurt.
Like that just whole opening sequence, I'm just like, I feel so bad for this character, and I love her and her ferret, and I want to see her succeed because she doesn't want to fight. She wants to resolve everything peacefully, and I think she barely even raises a fist in the entire movie.
Well, I mean, aside from that scene where she tries to start like fighting the guards that came in and killed her dad.
Yeah, I mean, anyone would do that. Like, anyone would, even if the most heaviest of pacifists, if you see a loved one gunned down in front of you,
Yeah,
you are going to lose your shit.
very
Yeah.
likely.
But aside from that, she tries to resolve everything else peacefully between the warring countries and the invading bugs. She fucking the entire sequence at night when she's like at that outpost,
Yeah.
trying to figure out a way to peacefully solve this, even with the wave of bugs just like going right towards her city, and she just finds it. Help me if I'm wrong, but doesn't everything actually get peacefully resolved without any really bloodshed going on, or is there
Pretty
actually the
much.
battle
I mean,
going?
like there's no real battle. I mean, like there are some action scenes where or like there's the scene in the airship where one of them has a gun, but like the guys that are from Nausicaa's village somehow manage to get it so that she doesn't have to shoot, that she doesn't shoot anybody or shoot any creatures like
Right.
after the airship crash.
Pretty much everyone, like in accordance to her and in respect to her, lays down their arms.
Yeah.
Almost, in whenever they come across, like they know how to defend themselves, but in respect to her and what she is trying to accomplish, they lay down and just, all right, you know what, fine, we don't have to do this,
Right.
And they don't do it.
Yeah.
And there's no like stab in the back or anything like that. It's actually peacefully resolved.
I did like the two characters from whatever that empire was or whatever. The two that were always bickering with each other, like teasing about how they're going to kill each other and take
But
over.
what did you guys actually think?
I just thought that was really
What did
funny
you guys
dialogue.
think about the actual universe and like how bugs and the forest and everything and like the just the life and trying to save the humans through out of this? Like I really love the setting of this anime, for real. Like really loved it.
Like I said in the beginning of Nazca's talk, it really does feel like a combination of, like you pointed out, Metroid as well as Fallout. So that kind of like mythology and atmosphere, especially for this kind of thing, I think really can take off. Now, I do love the universe in its own separate continuity. If it was my universe and we lived in a desert and there was an ancient civilization,
it's just a desert.
I know, but that's just what my mind immediately goes to start with. So it's just a little off-putting of like, I don't want to live in the goddamn desert. But the atmosphere of it, the caverns, the forest, the desert is so beautiful that I can't help but love it and love.
No, definitely.
So I don't know if you guys noticed, but like if you look at the way that like all the vehicles are designed, they're all like compare them to our own actual designed vehicles and whatnot. All of our planes are relatively bird shaped, whereas theirs in that movie are bug shaped. Like they all look kind of like
everything
insects.
is very buggy.
So like it's
if you know what I mean.
Give me a dragonfly.
Dragonfly.
Yeah, like the whole idea behind like the vehicle design was that like the people who invented these vehicles, like in terms of the art department, was that all the vehicles are based on like bugs that exist in that universe because bugs are the dominant creatures.
Yeah. And they show they're easily the most threatening presence in the entire movie.
There's actually I think the game Metal Slug uses the design of the giant monsters or the giant insects as like enemies in the video game.
I'm gonna look this up. Give me a minute.
I might be wrong about which game uses it, but I'm pretty sure it's the game Metal Slug.
Could be. I haven't heard of that game.
And,
Let's
Metal
talk
Slug
a little
Nausicaa.
bit about Princess Mononoke though, because that one was actually.
Yeah.
I just want to put this out there. This one was the first one I saw of Ghibli, but I actually want to preface this with saying
Really?
like I did like I watched Princess Mononoke with my roommate like last year, and she was like, "You haven't seen Ghibli before," and that's like how I kind of got introduced to it and everything. But I just want to put a side thing here saying that when I rewatched Spirited Away, I actually watched Spirited Away back in 2001 when I was still living in France, and I remembered watching the movie when I was almost at the end of watching Spirited Away. I was like, this is the film I saw in cinema when I was in France, and it just like it mirrored like my childhood with like my 20s. It was such a weird like realization in the moment I was watching that film, and that's why like I really enjoyed it. But Princess Mononoke really got me into like Ghibli as a studio and as a movie collection, and like what made me want to do this specific episode. Such a cool movie. Like the adventure and the creatures and the difficulties that the characters go through in that Princess Mononoke is so great. What do you guys think about Princess Mononoke?
I loved it. Honestly, the kind of Civil War feel of essentially the one savage Mononoke, quote unquote, versus basically the people who are tearing down the entire forest to saturate their own self. And even when we meet we can clearly see like both points of view from them. Mononoke wanting to protect her home, the village, and the village wanting to like do what's right by its people. Hell, even when our main character like is first in the village, he sides with them really and just like accepts life in the village, seeing gets along with everyone in the village, seeing how they all work together. Then when he goes back out into the forest and finds Mononoke, that all gets turned on its head, especially when like the guardian of the forest shows up. Dear God, that fucking deer. But with both sides, it's kind of up to the viewer to decide like who's right and who's wrong, even if the movie definitely destroys the village.
The movie pretty heavily leans towards nature being right.
I mean, yeah, because you can't stop nature, and if you
really
can, you're wrong. But I'm just gonna say it. As scary as that deer is, he is nowhere near as bad as Totoro.
You guys brought up something that actually is really interesting to me. The whole thing with like nature and like humans. I feel like it's this big thing of like the humans wanting to like take out the nature in the process of war, but then nature wanting to be preserved. I really felt like there's a parallel with that and Pompoko, where like the raccoons want to preserve the nature. Like throughout all these movies, I'm just realizing the more we're talking about it, like themes relate, like youth, nature versus humans, adventure, romance. Like these are very generic themes. Yes,
Kids growing
but
up.
like it connects a lot between all these movies, and I wonder, and maybe this is like something because you're more story driven, Kyo. This is something you can answer. Like, is this intentional when they write these back to back to back? Like they're all made in like different time periods. You know, some of these are from the 80s, 90s, or 2000s. Do you think it's intentional when they do all these like crossover themes that just happen to connect with another one? Like, okay.
Absolutely, they're all, or it's absolutely intentional. That Miyazaki is trying. Is like he's very heavy, or he's very anti-industrialization. He's kind of like the J.R.R. Tolkien of the modern age. Like he's very opposed to like industrialization, like taking over nature and whatnot, because he feels pretty strongly about that, because like not only that, but he's also got some very strong opinions on war, because there's a lot of like war subtext in most of his movies, because like I'm pretty sure he was born, or I just looked it up, he was born in 1941, which is 2 years before I believe it's 2 years before World War II ended. So he'd be like maybe three by that point. Or no, yeah, he'd be 2 years old. But he strongly opposes just war in general, and he's a very pacifist type of person, from what I understand.
So that relates to the theme of nature preservation. I'm just trying to understand how that connects to like the fact that there are different themes that interconnect between different movies. Like the fact that he is like that. Like how does that influence the fact that these themes interconnect between the movies?
I mean, nature connection can happen with.
You mean like between each film?
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that they're all supposed to. I don't think the movies are supposed to be connected in that sense, but they are all supposed to, or a lot of them do have this underlying tone. Nature versus industrialization. He's very much like, he personally is opposed to like heavy industrialization. Like he obviously understands that we need to industrialize a little bit in order to survive, but he's also very pro nature. Like one of the things at his studio has an open garden area where the animators can go and just spend some time in kind of an outdoor setting with these blossoming trees and flowers, and just a lot of like he's a very nature driven person.
Right. What I was gonna say after that also is that like with this whole nature and human theme that is throughout the many of the movies, I feel like is very much a setup for like what the characters are gonna be like, how they're going to struggle with their enemies, and are they gonna collaborate and fight. Like in Pompoko, I feel like there's a lot of that. The raccoons screwing with the humans because the humans are screwing with the nature, and then in Nausicaa, it's the war that makes it so that forest is gonna get burnt down. We don't really have a choice. I really feel like it's a theme that kind of sets up the storyline, or like the big parts of the storyline. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I think of it as like he's just real, or like it's a message that he thinks is not, or that he believes is not going to grow old, but he knows how to weave it into his stories so that it's natural and it's not preachy. He's not that hippie at the side of the road holding a sign that says "Save the trees." He's basically
or during the Lorax,
yes, or in the Lorax, where it's completely hypocritical. But
want to stress this in the remake, not in the original Lorax.
Yeah, exactly. He's the exact opposite of that person holding up the sign that says "Save the trees." He is saying "Save the trees," but he's going about it in basically showing people why they should save trees, because trees are important to us and we need them to reproduce oxygen. And he's a little bit more like a teacher than a protester. Is what he is.
There's actually a lot of movies in Ghibli that nature can come and fuck you over.
Or like the movies show a reverence for nature, and I like how it's not like Fern Gully where it's like it's really in your face.
Yeah,
they're not like that, and it's why part of why they speak to such a wide audience of people.
Yeah,
when we talk about like all these themes being very prevalent and very present throughout many of the Ghibli movies, I feel like another theme that is very prevalent and almost like what makes up every single Ghibli movie is magic, and the fact that there's like magical things that happen, or magical characters, or magical powers. Like the fantasy is woven in many of the plots. And for example, one of the movies that I saw, I don't think you saw this one, Hotshot, yet. It was called The Cat Returns. Without really spoiling anything here, I felt like this one was good. Like, it's a good movie. But when you've seen many other Ghibli movies, I feel like it's just another one of those, like, characters get thrust into this magical world and magic happens. You know? Like, I didn't feel like from that specific movie that there was a big impact, like a Spirited Away or like a Ponyo. Like, those movies, like, had a much bigger impact in my opinion. I don't know about you, but, like, I feel like these themes are so prevalent in all these movies that it makes it kind of hard for some of the less heavy hitters to be as impactful, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, The Cat Returns is definitely one that I've heard of before I started watching Ghibli movies, and basically anyone who's watched Ghibli movies that I've come across does know it and does love it and tries to push it down my throat to watch it. But yeah, I just haven't watched it. I know the image of the cat in the top hat and his cane,
played by Carrie Elways, the smooth motherfucker from Princess Bride, Wesley.
Did not know that.
He plays the English version of the cat, and he is.
Did not know that.
Did you know that he was smooth?
And that's about all I knew.
Did you know that he was a smooth cat?
I could tell by looking at him that he could be a suave motherfucker. But really all I had was his appearance. I had nothing else to go off of. Everyone else just told me, it's so good, watch it. But why? It's just good.
Here's the thing about The Cat Returns. It kind of requires a little bit of context because it's kind of a weird Inception kind of movie, because the movie comes from one of the other films in this library. I can't remember which one it is. I know it's either Whispers of the Heart or Poppy Hill, but it's essentially the story that one of the characters is writing in one of the movies. And the movie, like if you look into I can't remember which one it is, because it's the movie where it's these two kids who are growing up together, and they kind of can't stand each other, but finding out that they have a lot in common and a lot different about each other is kind of how the movie grows and develops itself.
That sounds like Totoro.
How? Those are two sisters that have to live.
Yeah,
with each other,
I don't see the resemblance here. I don't see the connection.
Neither do I.
I heard two girls living together, or
two kids.
I heard two kids growing up togetger, and I thought Totoro.
Okay, I see your point there, but it's a bad one.
But Kyo, I wanted to go back to just the fact that, like, do you agree or not agree with me when I'm saying that this whole magic is so a part of this universe that when you watch The Cat Returns versus any other Ghibli movie, I honestly feel like it's just another random character gets dropped in a magical land and has to, like, goes on an adventure. Like, that's how it felt to me, because that's what Ghibli movies are. You know, it kind of felt like they kind of just not copy pasted, but they took the main theme from other movies, so it didn't make it as special for me personally.
So Cat Returns is probably one of the lesser ones, because it's not it doesn't have the same flair that the other Miyazaki movies have, because like it's more so focused on just telling like an adventure story, as opposed to as opposed to Totoro, which has a very slice of life feel with a little bit of magic sprinkled in, and that kind of pushes the story forward. Or I guess in ways it's pretty Cat Returns is similar to Spirited Away, but there's less urgency in The Cat Returns. Like there's no real stakes in Cat Returns. It's kind of just like this girl gets thrusted into this world and then the goal is to just kind of leave. It's kind of an Alice in Wonderland sort of thing, but it's not as there's no, or like I said, there's no real stakes to it. It's more of one of those just like, it's kind of one of those mindless Ghibli movies, which is not what you kind of want from Ghibli. They're a little more smart than that, I feel, but it's not a terrible movie. I think it's entertaining.
Fair enough. And the last movie I wanted to really get into before we get into other conversation here specifically is From Up on the Poppy Hill. I saw that one. I liked it personally. I just felt it was cool to not have a movie that was as dripped into magic and just have like, it's basically, without spoiling, of course, it's about these students that build a boathouse, and it's centered around this very community driven thing, and these students work together, and then finally maybe like the boathouse, it might not be there after all, and so they fight back and stuff. So it's just one big movie where they come together and work to a common goal. I think it's cool, but personally, like, that one was another one of those lesser ones, in my opinion. What do you think?
It's still, or Poppy Hill is okay. So that tells me that Whispers of the Heart was the one that The Cat Returns is based from, because Whispers of the Heart is probably closer to the one that I was describing. Anyway, Poppy Hill is more of like a teen drama kind of movie. Yeah. There's not, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially because it's a Ghibli movie and it's a really good Ghibli movie. But as honestly, like there since there's no real like magic element to it, it's a little interchangeable
more dull
with like some other regular anime movie that could just be, it could be like Your Name, but like without the magic element that's in there. Like I don't hate it. I've seen a majority of the movie, but I like didn't get to finish the whole thing. And I do know more about the movie without having seen it somehow. Like I know too much trivia about these movies that I haven't seen.
All right. Well, since we're nearing the end here, and you any trivia? This is go ahead with your trivia with the other stuff you wanted to mention about these movies, because I'm curious. I love trivia. I love trivia, Kyo.
Well, something that I completely forgot about was like when we were talking about Nausicaa, I forgot to mention the scene with the giant robot, the secret weapon, like towards the end of the movie. That was animated by a first-time animator.
Really?
Like this is yeah, it was animated by a guy that was really new to animation. Like he was a student, like fresh out of school, and like he didn't have a lot of experience. But when they did the pencil test for it, the director was like, he's in. He has to work on this movie.
He's got the right touch.
Yeah. I think that particular animator has been on most of these movies.
I wonder, like, staff-wise, like, do they rehire the same musicians, the same animators? Like, is Studio Ghibli?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. I think the one exception is Grave of the Fireflies, because like Grave of the Fireflies and Totoro were made around the exact same time. So like I think they were working on two different movies, and then they released the films as a matinee or like a package deal. And as I recall, their animators and like they didn't have like a full staff when they put that movie together. So like they ended up like creating a course on like, this is what we want to do with the studio. This is the way that we do things around here. And they started hiring like permanent staff. So like right now they still have like permanent people who are still doing these films.
I mean, I'm looking over here, like on the wiki page. Maybe you know any of these, but the notable animators and character designers from Studio Ghibli. You got Masashi Ando, Makiko Futaki, Katsuya Kondo, Kitaro Kasada. Do any of these sound familiar to you? I'm very bad with like actual like Japanese or like people, or I know very few. I just know a couple. Like Miyazaki is one of them. I think who was that other one who I was thinking of? Mamoru Hosoda was one of the animators who worked on the Digimon movie and then later made Summer Wars, like his own film. Right.
Those are those are two of the ones that I remember the most. Like I don't know names. Like I don't know names in Japan that well, like in terms of their industry. I know the American industry a lot better.
No, fair enough. I was gonna quiz you on the animators. If you don't know them, you don't know them. I actually
I can't do it.
I can't do it, man.
I can't do
it, man.
I can't do the game show on the Japanese animators.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
Oh
I
man,
can't.
that's a whole other thing. I'm at and
That would be a horrifying
that would be an
episode.
animator think tank episode.
No.
And then I was looking over here. They actually have an upcoming Ghibli movie this year. Did you guys know that? There's a Ghibli movie coming out in December apparently.
I did.
I didn't know
actually.
that. I
heard
did not.
about
Earwig
that.
and the Witch. It looks
Earwig and the Witch.
Earwig and
Yeah.
the Witch. Earwig and
computer
the Witch.
animated.
What is it, the DuckTales theme song in Kiki?
Computer animated.
Yeah, computer
Really?
animated film.
Huh. That's fun. Or that's kind of funny because the that Lupin movie is coming out in Japan pretty soon. I don't know if it's out yet or not, but I'm curious.
I don't
about
know.
that
And
one.
then apparently, How Do You Live is another one that's upcoming. They have almost like I think over 20 easily movies. Like this, it's so crazy to me how many Ghibli movies they done, and they took a big break. Like the last one they did before these two was in 2014 with when Marnie was there. So I don't.
Yeah, that was one of the last ones. Or actually, I don't know if they actually took a break there because they may have been working on Austin. What's that video game that has the Studio Ghibli artwork? in it? Like,
God, it has a very long Japanese title. It's one that I just discovered.
you like just got it like a week ago or something like that.
Yeah, and
Like,
I can't think of the name of it.
I don't know. They may have been working on that video game.
There's
at
two
the
of them
time.
though.
There's two of them.
Yep.
Oh, I thought there was just one.
There's two.
They may have been working on the video game or that video game that they're in at that time. Like you would have to look it up. But,
I can't remember the name.
But like on that note, since you're talking about like their relatively short list of movies, the director Hayao Miyazaki has gone into retirement like 10 times,
Really?
saying that he like, dude, he was saying that this was my last movie back on like I think he said it was my last movie around Mononoke at some point.
Wow.
And then he keeps coming back with a new one. Like he said he went into retirement before he came up with the idea for Spirited Away, and then he came back and made that. Like I'm convinced that the guy's gonna like die and then come back and be like, Jinx, I'm making another movie.
Guys,
like nothing's gonna make this guy stop
basically,
making movies.
guys, do you mind if we take a quick 5-minute break? So, guys, we're gonna take 5 minutes, and we're gonna come back right after this. So, enjoy. We'll be back right now for you guys, but we're just taking 5 minutes, just so you know. So we're back from the break, first break in the anime podcasters history, and I wanted to know for you guys your favorite movies, standouts that you really, really enjoyed out of all the Ghibli franchise.
I'll go ahead and start us off. Like I said when we were talking about it, how I said Nausicaa was my favorite Ghibli movie. Second one being Kiki's Delivery Service, and third being I can't remember what I said at the time. But with Nazca being my first favorite, I probably wouldn't go as back to it as often as I would say Porcaroso. So I'm going to say Porcaroso is the one I'm going to recommend to a lot of people to watch because it's honestly just an all-around good time. If you like aerial dogfights, kind of cocky Cena, or just kind of funny main character lead, which Porcaroso himself is, and I love him for it, and an adorable supporting character in Theo. Honestly, I can't really ask for a lot more than that. Again, Nazca is probably my favorite one, but it takes a lot to understand in that world and get into the mythos and everything.
Right.
Porcaroso doesn't really require all of that.
You just kind of get the idea. It's like
It's a pig flying a plane,
yeah.
shooting people down.
Yeah,
you already
know what's going on.
That's what you need.
Yeah, definitely. That's the one
that's the one that stands out to me roughly the most. Aside from ones that have already been talked to death about, like Kiki's Delivery Service and Spirited Away. Because Spirited Away, brilliant masterpiece.
Yeah.
For me, it's Ponyo. Ponyo really stands out to me. Like, I just
Ponyo,
love
Ponyo.
how cute, how gorgeous, how childish, and like it's there's not a single bad vibe in that movie. You know what I mean? Even the villain, the guy from the sea is likable to me because he has like a purpose that like makes sense. You know, there's literally not a bad thing about that movie. Like not a mean spirited thing. It's all good natured. It's so feel good. And I watched it when it was raining, and it was like just the perfect vibe. And it really clicked with me when I watched it. I really loved it. Ponyo for sure.
Ponyo's a really cute one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be an asshole and say if you've seen Little Mermaid, you've pretty much seen.
Oh,
no.
If you've seen Finding Nemo, you've seen Ponyo.
If you've seen Finding Nemo and
Little Mermaid.
and Little Mermaid,
Finding
you've seen
Little
it.
Finding
It's just,
Little Mermaid.
It's just Little Mermaid. It's
Finding
Little
the Little
Mermaid.
Mermaid.
It's Little Mermaid when there's 6.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
what this is.
Yeah, it's when there's 6 basically.
It's when there's 6 and more anime.
And the fourth
That's
grossing,
it.
and the fourth biggest grossing anime film of all times. But that's just a little detail. Who
Fair.
cares? You know, it's a little detail. Whatever. No big deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess if I had to
Yeah.
pin down my personal favorites, I weirdly personally for me, I would say number 3 would be My Neighbor Totoro. Like, one, I've got memories of it. I'm a huge fan of Totoro himself. I've actually got a plush and a tiny little figure that sits on my desk, and
Aw.
Totoro just sits there. Totoro sits there and watches me while I'm animating. So
Maybe that's why he creeps out Hotshot, because he sees it every day.
I might just put him on top of Austin's cooler, like right next to his scantily clad figures.
Yeah, I have the Etsy figures in my room watching over me.
I'm the creepy one who has cute stuff in my room, apparently.
Yeah, I'm the normal horny ass man.
And this is not PonsuCast.
No, I'm keeping it PG. It's fine.
We're not getting nearly as explicit as we get on PonsuCast.
No, fair enough. All right, cool.
Not yet.
Cool. Yeah, no.
I guess, but I guess my favorite one, I'm gonna have to say, probably Nausicaa is my number 1, and a close second would be Kiki.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought you were
Nausicaa-
going to say Mononoke.
I really loved Mononoke, but as much as I love that, I have such a taste for post-apocalyptic stuff. I'm making a cartoon about post-apocalypse stuff, in private. Sorry, it's not private anymore. But it's that's my passion project, and
Right.
any movie that takes place in a post-apocalypse and does something different. Every post-apocalypse movie is different somehow, and Mononoke, Nausicaa is different in the sense that it's not so much about how crazy and how different that world is. It's about how it's very much about nature should be respected and preserved, while also saying there's a way for everyone to coexist on this world. And I find that much more refreshing than say Mad Max is just we all need water, let's all band together. I don't know, I haven't seen that movie in a while, but I like the message of Nausicaa. I love the designs, and and honestly that's just why it's one of my favorite Ghibli movies.
Fair enough. I also wanted to highlight the fact, I just came across this. Apparently there's a Studio Ghibli Fest that happens every year. It's been happening since 2017, and they just rebroadcast movies. And in 2019 they had Studio Ghibli Fest 2019, and they showed Howl's Moving Castle, which was the 15-year anniversary, Nausicaa's 35-year anniversary, and Kiki's Delivery Service 30-year anniversary. That's crazy.
30?
Yeah, Kiki's an older one.
How old are these movies?
From the
Kiki's
80s.
30, apparently.
They're from the 80s and 90s, bro.
Jeez. I thought they were early 2000s. I keep forgetting about the years that these were made in. Damn.
Ponyo was 2008.
For me, knowing so much about these movies, I don't remember their fucking release dates.
Yeah, you know everything behind the scenes except when behind the scenes happens.
Exactly.
Arguably the most important part, I'd say.
I mean, it is what it is. Okay, so before we wrap things up, let's any final trivia, Hotshot, Kyo, or Hotshot if you have trivia.
Austin
too.
don't know shit.
Oh,
I
man.
like the movies. That's it.
Trivia. I like movies. What about, in all seriousness, Kyo, before we wrap things up, you're good?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I feel like it's past the point of doing trivia. I think it's about time we wrapped up.
All right,
Yeah,
perfect.
tell us, what's the most recent Studio Ghibli movie?
Marnie.
Wind Rises is the earliest one I can think of.
Marnie.
I asked
Oh god,
what's the
that was in
latest one.
2014. Shit.
1 point. All right, what's the next
knew you-
question? What's the next question? I'm ready. Game showtime.
Was my least
When
favorite
was the show?
Studio Ghibli
When was
movie.
the show times for My Neighbor Totoro in 2006?
9.
Gosh darn it. Okay. Let's give our final thoughts here. I really am happy I found this. I feel like if anime was a pool, I feel like I just got to the deep end here. You know what I'm saying? I got to the good stuff. I got to like the professional level. I got to enjoy the best pieces of anime there are out there by watching these movies. Studio
That
Ghibli
came out before any of us were born.
basically, honestly. But no, I was born the same year as Poko, I think. Was the same year I was born?
Oh god.
Yeah, 94. But you know, just to say, like, I just feel like these movies are so amazing and so beautiful and so gorgeous, and they have these amazing themes, these characters, and every film, even though has very similar themes, is portrayed so differently. So they all can stand apart, and we can talk about them in the same podcast
Exactly.
and feel like we have multiple different conversations throughout the episode, which is what I like about this and why I wanted to do a full Ghibli anime podcast episode. These movies are so worth seeing, and I'm not done seeing all of them yet. Like the way we came about doing this episode, I know I should have said this at the beginning, is that I started watching anime feature films on Netflix, and then I found one Ghibli here and another Ghibli there, and I was like, we should do a full episode on these, and I'm really happy we did, because we can really see how deep these go and how they are enjoyable, and we barely had any criticisms of them. Like that's the thing too. Like we're pretty critical. Like if I don't like something, I will not like something, and I will say it.
Like the anime Frankenstein movie.
Oh
Oh
man.
my god.
Episode 87, check it out. But just to say that I remember that one by name just because of how much I hate it. I just really am happy I found this corner of the anime stone that we are on. You know what I mean? Like I'm just happy this sector of anime is like being explored more and more. And I can't wait to watch more of these films and maybe do like full podcasts on some Ghibli movies, because we're
definitely gonna go over a lot of these at some point.
Yes.
Like I feel like some of these we may have to rewatch before we start a podcast on them. Like there's a lot to unpack with each one of these movies.
Definitely.
I'll probably fill my brain up with the trivia that I forgot about each time.
Like when they came out.
Yeah, probably. Shut up.
Oh. That one was good, Hotshot. I'll give you a point for that one.
Shade has been thrown.
I can't see her. There's too much shade. All right. Final thoughts for you guys. Go ahead, Hotshot or Kyo, whoever wants to go first.
Even after all these years, I still haven't watched all the Ghibli movies, as has been apparent by this list. Like when you guys brought up
Cat Returns,
Returns,
Poppy Hill,
or Pompoko, or like any of them like that. Obviously, I haven't watched them all, but I still do heavily intend to. I do love the Ghibli movies. Like I said, Nazca and Porcaroso, Kiki, Spirited Away. I do love what I've seen, minus Totoro and probably a few others.
Let me clarify, everybody. He means Totoro himself. He likes the movie.
I like the movie fine. Totoro, jump off a cliff. But
you watch what you say about my motherfucking Totoro.
Quick question.
Totoro, jump off a cliff, cat bus.
Quick question.
All the way.
What's creepier? What's be serious? What creeps you out more? Totoro the character or the bugs from Nausicaa? The army of bugs.
Totoro.
Oh,
Easy.
Man.
You were bothered by the bugs?
I feel like they are more bothersome than Totoro.
They were like almost cybernetic.
No, they weren't. They were real bugs.
Yeah.
Oh, those. No, okay. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, no, still Totoro.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Whatever.
He's freaky to me. I don't know why. He just is.
I think it's just like the fact that like his proportions are so that his mouth is bigger.
Look, I don't care about proportions. I'll watch Attack on Titan all day, but
I'm talking about the proportion of the mouth because it's big enough to put May in there and she'll never come out.
Again, I'll watch Attack on Titan all day. But just Totoro himself freaks me the fuck out.
Hotshot, I'll watch Attack on Titan all day, except I'll never watch season 2, 3, or 4. Ever. But
I'll watch season 1 on repeat.
Exactly.
Ask Kyo. I do that with a lot of shows.
Yeah.
Austin will play through the game and say that he watched the anime.
Yes, I
which
will.
He basically has.
Yes, I do. But I heavily enjoy what I've seen with Ghibli, and hearing that there's still going and work, and a new Ghibli movie is coming up in the future. I can't wait to see where they go from there.
Fair enough. And for yourself, Kyo?
I literally love all these movies. Like even if I have like ones that I would rank lower than each other, like there are some that are better than others. I mean, but ultimately, like these are animation masterpieces. Like if you just like looked at them in terms of like their technology is unbelievably impressive, and they look some of them look better than movies we have today, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
and overall they're very what's the word I'm looking for?
aesthetic?
They're yeah, sorry. No, that's not the word, but they're very deep. They're very deep. They're detailed. There's a lot to them, I think, is probably the best way I can describe it.
Let me ask you this quickly before you wrap up. How do you feel about the next movie coming out being computer animated versus drawn, I guess, more? Like, how do you feel about... Yeah.
I'm a little surprised, but Japan is starting to do a lot more 3D animation. Like
I mean, it's against
they
tradition.
Look really good.
It's against tradition as far as Ghibli goes, but at the same time, you kind of have to evolve to stay relevant.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, not all Ghibli movies are completely hand-drawn. Some of them have computer animation.
Yeah.
Because Hayao Miyazaki is friends with John Lasseter. John Lasseter is the founder of Pixar, or one of them. And he... introduced Miyazaki to computer animation, and I can't remember which movie it is. Oh wait, that's right. Mononoke has some CG in it. Weirdly enough, like that's the most nature-driven movie where, like, I think so like he used CGI for like panning in shots to make the ground look really like organic and still like keep its shape. And I think he used it on like the corrupted creature that is going through the movie. I think that's where it was. But yeah, like I'm not completely against it. Like I'm open to see more like CGI animated Japanese movies. It's really strange because like that's not something that we usually think of Japan doing. That's more of an American trend because like Toy Story and Shrek sort of set that ball rolling and we can't seem to get away from it. And I think it's dying down and I want to see more we might be switching over. So like Japan might start doing CGI almost exclusively, and then we'll switch over to hand-drawn.
Well, then, that's the way it is. But like, I feel like
I'm just making a joke. I really hope
it's gonna go that way just because 2020 is a horrible year.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one will argue with you there.
But like, okay, I think that that concludes it for me and for everyone. Also, I just want to say, guys, I don't know how, but we hit 400 likes. We hit 400 followers on the page in the middle of the podcast. I'm not making this up. We're at 402. Yeah, we're at 402.
We have 402 likes on the Facebook page in the middle of recording this podcast.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
How
many of them are bots?
How many?
About 400 of them.
How many of them are going to ask?
We have 2 likes and one of them's me.
How many of them are going to ask us if we have merch?
387.
If they're all going to buy, I'll say we definitely do.
Right.
Just give us.
We'll set up a shop eventually. I'll get that figured out if we have to.
Just give us the money via Bitcoin and
no, shut up.
JaianMusic.
Yeah, only him. No one else does any work on this ever.
All right.
Yeah, you're not going to get $1 from merchandise.
I'm not going to get $1 in general. All right, let's plug away. So let's start with you, Kyo. Where can people find you? You do all the artwork for the podcast, so please share your craft and your art with everyone.
You guys can find me on Twitter at GoProkyo, spelled exactly how it sounds. And you guys can find my website. My website has all my archived stuff that I've done over the years. It has all the stuff I've done over the years and some of the stuff that I'm putting out nowadays. If you guys want to see some more stuff from me, I have videos on YouTube. You can find me at GoProkyo on YouTube. I'll be probably the first one that shows up. If you see the picture of my face, that's not it. That's my portfolio.
Perfect. And for yourself, Hotshot?
You guys can find me right here on JaianMusic's channel doing the podcast and basically basically just being a general nuisance. You guys can also find me over on Twitter at Caution Ginger, where I barely post. I'm a ghost stalker. And you guys can find me over on my channel, Hotshot Ginger, where me and Kyo have our own podcast, Ponsu Cast, where we go into the nitty-gritty of the dirtier side of anime and the kind of fandoms that we can get into over there. It is definitely an R18 plus podcast, so do not bring the little ones. Make sure the room is locked.
If you bring your little ones to YouTube, then I'm a little concerned about what you watch on YouTube.
Yes, so am I. So please, just not when you're at work. That's all I ask.
I was gonna say, I'm posting this episode next week, like middle of September, because this is going to be the only episode this month. That's why it's a longer form episode for you guys. The episode I edited of Podcast, is it gonna be out by then? Like, cause I edited it when I don't think you posted it yet. Is it gonna be out? Like, when's the next one coming out?
Oh, we already
really?
posted.
I must have.
Yeah, we
already
posted
that.
that
That's
new
weird.
one.
YouTube, you're not working.
What else is new?
Yeah, that's
I
what else
literally
is new?
have
That's old
notifications
news.
enabled on your channel. I didn't get it. That's really messed up. That like hurts my heart. Anyways,
I mean, I uploaded it like a week ago.
That
at
hurts.
this
Yeah,
That
it was a
hurts me.
week ago.
Seriously, I can't believe I didn't get that. Okay, that's stupid. Well, okay, and for the podcast, you can follow the podcast on Facebook.com/Anime Podcasters. Help us get the 500. Let's get the 500 likes by the end of this year. Let's do that. That'd be amazing. That would be like really appreciated. And you can also rate our podcast. Give us 5-star on any podcast platform that you have on ratethispodcast.com/Anime Podcasters. And if you ever want to leave us a voicemail for us, speakpipe.com/Anime Podcasters. For myself, you can follow me at JaianMusic everywhere, and you can also hire me for freelance audio and music services on JaianMusic.com. I've recently updated my resume. I have a portfolio channel, and my YouTube channel is youtube.com/JaianMusic. That's gonna be everything. So for myself, for GoProkyo, and for Hotshot, this has been another episode of... You've done that
Anime
one like that
Podcasters.
before, like you.
Anime Podcasters!
Anime
Bye, guys.
Podcasters.
Right.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Anime Podcasters. If you would like to support the podcast, you can find audio downloads on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Google Play. If you would like to support the voices in this podcast, follow their links in the description and the Twitter handles on screen. See you next time, weebs.